Howdy y'all, Mustache Bernardi here with another YouTube video, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how I use gray noise and EPSS to prioritize vulnerabilities. So first and foremost, if you have not subscribed to my channel, I would encourage you to do that, so please hit the subscribe button and like button, of course, if you like the video. So anywho, outside of this mustache and like this total Pacific Northwestern look I got going on right now, thrifted Patagonia shirt, what up? Patagucci. Anywho, I'm going to be going over like a hypothetical situation, and I just want to walk through how I use tools like gray noise and such like that to prioritize vulnerabilities. So for those that work in my space, not my space, but in my space, which is vulnerability management, we know of a few terms. We are familiar with CVE, or Common Vulnerabilities and Enumerations, or exposures. I think it's exposures. CVSS, Common Vulnerability Scoring System. CWE, Common Weaknesses Enumeration. That's what that is. So CVE is Common Vulnerabilities and Exposures. But there is a new kid on the block called EPSS, which is the Exploit Prediction Scoring System, which takes previous exploits of products and predicts the likelihood of an exploit kit to be developed for that particular product once a CVE has been assigned to said product. In another list, it's not a tool, it's mainly just a list maintained by the United States government, known by CISA, Cyber Security Infrastructure Security Administration. Really lots of words there, but they produce this thing called the Known Exploited Vulnerabilities Catalog. So we're going to be covering both of those. We're going to be using gray noise and all that stuff. So let's make a hypothetical situation right now. You were an engineer at a company, and you basically do Tenable scan, quali scan, whatever, and you're like, wow, we kind of suck ass at security. We got all these vulnerabilities. Let's say hypothetically, you are vulnerable to everything on the CISA's known exploited vulnerabilities list. Now, let's also say that you are not in a compliance program, meaning you do not have to actually follow these due dates that CISA mandates that all of the federal civilian enterprises follow, like NIST, NASA, all those, agencies. They have to be compliant by the state. Let's just say that you have the CVE and that's all you care about. So you're like, okay, well, I have like 800 unique CVEs in my environment. Where do I start? Now, obviously there are some environmental factors that we can't really, hypothetically throw into this situation. Obviously, things on the internet, things in production, and things that are just accessible by lots of people should be prioritized over things like workstations. But let's not get into the nuances of vulnerability management, which there are plenty. Let's just say it's an equal playing field. All these CVEs impact the same sort of threat environment. They are all internet facing, and you just need to take action, right? Meow. How do you go about that? How do you eliminate the riskiest things first versus the non-riskiest things first? Because in theory, everything on the CISA list should be known exploited vulnerabilities, which I throw air quotes into that because you'll see very shortly that they are not known exploited. CISA, they don't really define what is a known exploited vulnerability. They don't really even share how a particular CVE even makes this list to begin with. But I will say, for what it's worth, it's a pretty solid list for literally if you have nothing to go off of. So again, this video is tailored towards those companies and enterprises that have nothing. Like, this is my workflow. Okay, so first things first, get all of these CVEs downloaded. CISA, they allow you to just download all of these in a CSV or JSON format, and you're able to just download them. So once you download them, you'll open them up in Excel, and this is what it looks like. It's pretty straightforward. So what I would do in this situation is I would copy all of these CVEs. Now, what this will allow us to do is to move this kind of information around. So let's just go ahead and copy this and use everyone's favorite text editor called Sublime. If you don't use Sublime for text editing, you are wrong. So let's go ahead and paste all of these into here. And you can see that we have 837 results if you do not include the header up here. So we have 837 CVEs. Yikes. Where do you even begin to start to prioritize these? We got one method that I know will guarantee you that some of these vulnerabilities don't actually mean as much as others if we're just going off of exploit data. So that is where the tool gray noise comes into place. Now, I've made a few videos on gray noise in the past, but to make a long story short and to kind of put my own definition on what this tool is, it is the central location for the internet's ears, I guess is the best way to put it. Shodan's the internet's mouth. Gray noise is internet ears. So that's the best way I could put it. They're just listening on the internet, and they're kind of like Seattle people. They'll listen and then they'll tell you, they'll like talk about what they heard elsewhere. I don't know where the fuck I was going with that, but like they're just hella like toxic. Gray noise isn't toxic. I'm talking about Seattle people. Okay, so basically it's just listening to the internet and kind of aggregating everything together. So it's associating internet scan data with things like CVEs and all that. Gray noise is way more than just a vulnerability management tool, by the way. So we will use their visualizer, which is free for everyone to use, and we will just type in CVE. And then we're just going to punch in like some CVE that we all have trauma with. We'll trauma bond right now in a YouTube video. CVE 2021-44228, which is log4j, log4shell, blah, blah. So right here, they have 305 hits of IP addresses that were scanning the entire internet for vulnerable systems that were running log4j. So 2.12, 2.14, whatever it was. So yeah, there's that there. And I know this CVE is on the SysAkev list, so I'll just Control C that. Come here, Control F and V, and then it's right there. So that's kind of what gray noise allows you to do. Now they have other things in here, like they have analysis trends and all that. We're not going to get into that right now. We're going to be talking about their API. Okay, so we have all of these CVEs right here. So we're just going to copy that over into Sublime, like I was talking about earlier, paste it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to format everything so we can use this in the gray noise API. Now there's a few ways you can go about this. I'm going to go, like I said, the engineer route. It works. It's obviously not the most efficient way to do it, but it works. So the way that I'm going to do this is I'm just going to create a simple bash script, which is basically going to do, not that. That was like so anticlimactic. Okay, so let's do ls, gray noise, and shell. So basically what it's going to do is it's going to create a while loop. So I'm going to create the variable CVE, and I'm actually just going to paste this into Sublime so it like looks presentable. So it's going to create a variable CVE, and it's going to do a while loop. And the while loop is just going to be a curl request to Gray Noise's API. So api.graynoise.io, experimental, GNQL, stats, and then it's going to query the CVE variable. And we're going to do a count of 1, not that. We'll just do a count of 1. And then basically API key, and it's going to append these, the results into a file called results.txt, and we're going to input cves.txt, which is going to be this is a known exploited vulnerabilities list. So basically all you need to do is I'll put this in GitHub. Y'all can just copy pasta over. Make sure you chmod, not that, chmod plus x gray noise dot gray noise shell, and then you're just gonna run, god damn it, that, and it's just gonna run, and it's going to basically append, or not append, but it's going to parse through that CVE list, and it's just going to say, hey, gray noise, what do you have for this particular CVE? So we will do gray noise shell, and then instead of 1,000, we're just going to do 1. Control X, Y, and then run it again. And all I'm concerned about right now is the host counts. So if we scroll up a little bit, which I don't know if I can. Yeah, it's just going to keep going all the way down. This doesn't look good. I'll just Control C. So a lot of these don't have results. So the query is CVE, for example, this one, CVE 2021-22506 has a count of 0. So this particular CVE does not have any known IP addresses that are mass scanning the internet for this particular CVE. However, this one right here, CVE 2020-7961, has a count of 19 unique IP addresses scanning the internet. You could break that down even more by using their classification, which they have 3, which is benign, malicious, or unknown. So if you really just want to focus on malicious scans on the internet, you can even further break that down by doing CVE whatever, and classification : malicious. So we'll just go ahead and let this scan through. And at the same time, what we are going, actually, since we're appending, we're going to remove results.txt, and then we are going to run this again. Okay. And then from there, we are going to open up another PuTTY session because I want to do some other things. So let me log in over here at the EPSS, which is the exploit prediction scoring system. So let me pull up their information up right here. So the EPSS model is really interesting, and I'd encourage you all to read all of this because I'm not going to do it in this video, but basically this is kind of the core of our problems, is that the amount of CVEs that get published every single year is growing exponentially, which they actually have like a graph somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. Data and statistics is where I want to go. So this is exactly what we are looking at right here. This is the way vulnerability management, this is what we're having to deal with. We have 5 years of data of published CVEs, and you can see where we are currently at right now. We are obviously breaking records, substantial records. We're already over, what, 18,000 or so CVEs? I don't know what the math is on this. Like, what's the middle? What? Yeah, like 18,000 or so CVEs, and we're the beginning of October. We hit this at the same point at the very tail end of December of last year, and like we obviously never got to this amount in 2017. So like we're breaking records every year. So we're obviously gonna have to be a little bit more in tune on how we're going to handle these CVEs. So, I mean, they just got all this data. Like if you're a data nerd, this is it. Now, the best way I can explain EPSS is it scores the likelihood of a CVE having exploits published on it from a score of 0 to 1. 1 meaning like there's exploits. And 0 is obviously, we don't really think there's going to be exploits developed for Raspberry Pi default admin CVE, whatever that was. That was kind of funny that was published. But they have an API that requires no API key, which is very nice. So we'll just go ahead and dig into it. I have the same sort of bash script already developed for EPSS, which is going to basically do the same thing as the gray noise one, but it's not going to... Oh, that's a big spider. We have a really bad spider problem in this house. Okay. No. Okay. Spider gone. Shit. We got some fat boys up in this. Oh. So same thing here. It's read CVE do, and then it's gonna just do the same thing as the gray noise one. So we're just gonna do EPSS shell and let that run. It's gonna do the same exact thing. And you can see the ones that we care about is the EPSS score right here. So I'll let that run. Let's check in on the gray noise one real quick. So this one is all done. Cool. So let me just look at history real quick because I did some like stuff to make some of this work. A Python orbit. Okay. None of that is working the way I want it to. Let's see. I think this one. Nope, 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 nope. Do I have another? Okay, so this is the SysAkev breakdown. So I did some little weird, like, regex stuff. Like I just did some regex magic, which I could go over. I'll probably make a whole nother video on regex, but basically I broke it down to all of the CVEs that have a count on them. So a lot of the gray noise, a lot of the CVEs in the SysAkev list don't actually have any sort of detections in gray noise, which is great. Like, we could still patch those, but let's go ahead and patch some of these ones, like 2019 3396. We have 2,300 unique IP addresses scanning for that particular IP. Now, again, that includes malicious and benign and unknown classification scores on gray noise, but regardless, that's 2,300 unique IP addresses just opportunistically scanning the entire internet for that particular CVE. So the best way I would go about this is a top-down approach. Which ones have the highest amount of IP addresses scanning the internet? And then work your way down. And then once you hit to like the very bottom one, which I'm sure we can probably throw this into a CSV file. I don't know. I don't know if this is going to work. Let's see. Let's do some magic here because I enjoy Sublime. So we'll do count, and then we will do dot star. That's going to capture everything. Find all, go back, and then we are going to do Control F, and then we're just going to subtract out all of these right here because they're not needed. Okay, and then we are going to Control F, and then query. Oops. And then that. And then we will find all minus that. Okay. So in theory, we should just be able to copy this over and then it will get pasted into comma delimited format. So we'll do this data. Let's see. From text CSV. I'm like having a brain for page layout. No. Data. Queries connections. No. Sort filter. Group. No. Need to do comma delimited. Comma delimited, unless it is. Which it's not. Okay, so now we're going to do comma delimited. Paste. Okay. 2 cells, blah, blah, blah. Use import text wizard. Paste special. Text. That didn't work. That did not work at all. Okay, so let's try this again. So Control paste A. Oops. Nope. God. There we go. Okay. So paste that. Brother. My brother in God. Text import wizard. Let's see if we can text import wizard. My brother in arms. Comma style? That didn't work. Okay, I feel like this is the dumbest thing. Like, I need to get to that thing right there. Data text to columns delimited. Okay, so data text to columns. Where's that at? Finish. Boom. Boom. All right. So now what we can do is we will go down, do this. We will do data filter, and then we'll do, okay, brother. That is brother. Let's do we'll probably remove just count. I could probably do that. Let's go back here, remove count, and then do count, and then that. We'll remove all that noise. Cool. And then we'll do the same thing that we did before. So we'll paste that in. Oh, brother. Amazing. Okay. Now, okay. There we go. That's how you do it. I believe that's how you do it. Okay. So now that we did that, we have how many from the 800 or so CVEs? Now we have 154 CVEs that we can look at on gray noise. So let's go ahead and take a look at this very tippy top one. We have 256,000. That's nutty. Let's just validate that real quick on gray noise's site because that's absolutely insane. What the fuck? What happened right there? Okay, so 2017. 2017 0114 I butchered that. 211,000. So like, I mean, this is what you need just right here. Look at this. This is insane. I don't even know what the CVE is. This a WannaCry? Why is everyone's computer scanning for this? I believe this is a WannaCry. I'm like 99% sure this is giving me like flashback. Disgusting. Disgusting. 211. Okay, so now that we got that workflow done, and you can kind of iterate off of that if you want, but that's like the best way I would go about it. Is like, again, the same situation. You have all of the SysAnone exploited vulnerability CVEs on your network. You need to download all of the CVEs, throw that into gray noise, using like that bash script that I have where it just checks gray noise's API and then it just appends the results to a JSON file. And then once it's done running, I use a little bit of regex work to kind of manipulate the JSON file. So I'm only capturing the CVE and the query and the count. And immediately I just remove anything with a count of 0 because I don't care about those. And then from there, I throw that into Excel. And then once it's in Excel and I make it comma delimited and all that, I just basically sort from the highest number down. So CVE 2017-011 or 0144 is number 1 with 256,000 results. Next one is 2018-10561, and then you just work your way down. Now that I got gray noise out of the way, phenomenal product. Let's go ahead and take a look at EPSS, which it's all done now. So I've been running all of this in my developer environment in OVH. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use a tool called Winscp, which if you have not used SCP before, it's a way to move files from a machine over. This just allows you to do it way faster. So I am going to take the EPSS TXT and I'm going to move it over here. And I'm going to do the same sort of dealio live. So we have what we need to prioritize from gray noise. So like immediately start working on those CVEs. Now that we have that, now we have EPSS we could take a look at. EPSS is a little different than gray noise, I would say, because gray noise is a reactionary tool that I would say you would use. You can obviously use that as a proactive tool. So like being proactive as far as, what I need to patch and all that. But EPSS, as I would say, is like, as of right now, as of filming this, is kind of like the golden nugget of like predictability of exploit kits being developed. So like this new Exchange 0-day thing, like I don't know what the EPSS score on it is. We'll live check that. I don't know. But anywho, you have a very standardized method of 0 to 1, prioritize the number ones, working your way down. Okay, so the EPSS script ran. I moved it over to my desktop over here, and we are going to take a look at it in everyone's favorite text editor, Sublime Text. So this is the EPSS data set right here. It's very disgusting. Like, this is disgusting to look at, but luckily JSON is very standardized, and we can do a few things in here if we want to. And luckily, Sublime allows us to set syntax to JSON, so we can like do this if we want to. And the few things that we care about is we don't care about the status. We don't care about the code or the version or public or total or whatever. All we care about is this right here. So we're going to use some regular expression magic to capture all of this, and that's it. Okay, so regular expressions. Let's go ahead and take the opportunity now to do that. So the only data we care about is we're going to do an open quote. Okay, so we're reading this right here. This is all we are looking at. So we are going to open quote CVE. Oops. Wrong spot. So open quote CVE, and you can already start to see that it's like highlighting things. And then once we put this other quote right here, it's only going to be that list. Okay, colon. And then now we're going to do another open quote, CVE, and then hyphen. And then now it's where it's going to get a little tricky, where we're going to have to start doing some regexy stuff. So we're going to do a \D, which means digit, which we know as of right now of making this video, there's only 4 digits in a year. This video is going to age pretty poorly in the year 10,000. So, but whatever, you could just do, yeah, whatever. So \D, and then in curly braces 4, and then we're going to do another hyphen, and then we're going to do another \D, and then we're just going to do like a 1 through 10. I don't know. So what that is basically 1, 10. So I've never seen a CVE go higher than 10, like digits. So like 10 actual digits right here. So I just put 10 just to be safe. And then we're going to do close quote, comma, same thing, open quote, EPSS, this, or end quote, colon, open quote. And then this is where we are going to do a not curly brace. We're going to do a digit, period. And then now we're going to do another digit. And then we're just going to do 1 through, and I believe there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're going to do 1 through 9. So we're going to do 1, 9, like that, and then close quote. So now this particular regular expression right here will only highlight what we care about. So we're going to hit find all, and it's going to highlight it all. We're going to hit Control C to copy, Control A to highlight everything, hit backspace to delete everything, and then Control V. Now we have everything that we care about. So now what we can do is clean this up a little bit more, and then do the same thing. We're going to import it into Excel and do the same exact thing we did with gray noise. So we're going to remove the CVE portion. So CVE, and then that, and then this. Just going to find all and delete. Okay. And from there, we are going to do, \digit. Actually, not that. We are going to do EPSS, that, and that, and then that. And we're going to delete all of this. And then what we have here is just the information that we care about, the CVE number and the EPSS score. So we're going to Control A, Control C, do the same thing. We're going to import this into a new Excel sheet. Oops. Gamma. Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? What? No, what? No, what? Come on. Delete. Okay. Paste. Cool. So we have all of this. Awesome. So now we can just do this. We're going to filter by actually highest to lowest. So we're going to do this. Boom. So the highest two, and oh, actually one thing we could also do is there might be duplicates in here. So since we have the potential of duplicates, what we are going to do in Sublime is Control A. We are going to do Edit, Permute, Lines, and then hit Unique. And then basically that's going to remove any dupes because we have a very obvious dupe at the very top. We're going to delete, paste, and then do the same exact thing we did, where we are just going to filter this Z to A, sort, and boom. We got our tops right there. So CVE 2021 4438. What is that CVE, you may ask? I don't know. This looks like a log4j, maybe. Oh no, Apache HTTP server. So yeah, that's EPSS. Now I'll show you just an ad hoc example of how you can use this in a tool called Postman. Postman is a phenomenal tool, which I have a video on how to use Postman, but let's take a look at these Exchange 0 days that were just like released a few days ago. 0 day. Let's just see what EPSS says about these particular CVEs. So Control V, no CVEs. What up with that? Let's go to the Hacker News. They typically have CVEs in here. Okay. So we have this CVE, Control C, go to Postman, and then in the CVE parameter, we're just going to paste it into here. Make sure we remove any spaces in here that's not needed. Hit send, and voila! We have an EPSS score of 0.2. Or 0.02, sorry. So it's scoring really low for that particular CVE. Now let's see what we have for this one right here. Does this score any higher? The world will never know until right now. 0.94. Ooh, that's a gnarly one. You should fix CVE 2022-41082 if there's a patch at the time of this video, which I don't think there is. But hey, Patch Tuesday is next week, so why not just wait? You know, Microsoft, just wait. Anyways, it's not like people are exploiting that right now. Just wait. They can wait. Hackers can wait. So that's a super long technical video by a security engineer. So anyways, like I said at the beginning of this video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button with the bell notification enabled so you can get notified anytime I post a new video. Also, have a Discord. I know my channel is mainly OSINT, but many of you know that have been around for a few years know that I am a security engineer through and through. OSINT is just a hobby of mine. So yeah, also update on the bus. I know like one of you is like curious about it. It's going. I'm just kind of pumping the brakes on it because Papa bought another home. So Papa's got to move and Papa's got to, you know, not worry about the damn school bus right now. So anywho, that is it for this video. Y'all take care. Goodbye.
Next question on this left side.
I was wondering, what's the recommended amount of dedicated RAM I should have to a server?
I'm sorry, could you please repeat your question?
Dedicated RAM to a server.
RAM.
If you're
how
running
much
off your
RAM?
PC.
Oh, okay.
It's dependent on plugins and players.
Yeah, what it's really this is a technical question you're asking, how much RAM.